As we conclude our lovely day for the full moon messages, let me start with our lovely Sadhguru, a quote. It is the ability to bring out the best in others that makes you a leader. And the best for those who are lovers and securely attached, non-traumatized ones is the physical, emotional, mental health anchored in ventral energy. The individuals who want to ignore that which is for Patrick Tan and Terry Real to do, we talked about again today, they will ignore. Okay, so you pursuing this aspect is not something that's a must. You'll be called to it on your own because your body has the anchored in ventral energy. I have a higher self. She didn't get broken and she kept leading. And today as a channeler, downloader, and more than just that, I can tell you ascension energies. I've consistently seen people who wither away in their self-fulfilling prophecy of insecure people that could still heal with Patrick Tan or Terry Real because they could love themselves first. In the meantime, then you got a bunch of different groups that come together. So lovers meet when their mental, emotional, physical self-agency is at hand and they're not looking to stay within a battlefield of drama and low frequency. Anyone who thinks mindfulness, mindsight, and mindset is patching, anyone who thinks therapy is patching is a person who's avoiding their feelings. And anybody who's avoiding their feelings is an emotionally unavailable person who will, at one shape or form, find a securely attached person boring because we're consistently expanding and we're consistently reminding the body that they have the possibility to expand too. That gets irritating because attachment wounds flare up. And those are exiles, protectors, and child parts and all of that. So a person who doesn't learn to self-regulate in their health, meaning they're equanimous, calm, centered, discerning, wise, good judgment, loving inner body. A person who doesn't learn how to be a securely attached, non-traumatized version, their higher self is not going to be a lover. Those of us who are lovers know what a lover does. They show up consistently on a high. They don't bring us down. They don't get down because they know how to use their eustress. Mindfulness practitioner right here. Mindset skills are easy. You sift through sensations, images, feelings, and thoughts. You don't have adversity inside you. You don't have an inner outer critic. No battle going on. There ain't no shame and blame and fault and defective. No, I have kindness. Mindfulness is that I focus my attention and in complete awareness, maximum certainty, I have kind intention. It's through self-compassion and self-love that people will be opening their body up. Their feminine will not be empowered if they do not have an empowered masculine, which is why God keeps chiming in, letting me know, don't judge human suffering. It's not bad or good. It's don't waste my fucking time, masculines. So as an empowered feminine, the stories that I have from my twin flame and flames and soulmates, they're personal. They've been shared through my loved ones and then with my lovely audio podcast versions throughout the years. There are many different ways we've talked about things, which is why those lovely educated sciences, they like to tell us that we change our stories up. I like to share with you all, people like to tell other people how they live life, so we leave it alone. But the point is you lead yourself, mental, emotional mastery, thanks to Powered Feminine here, your oversoul. When I got into my emotional and physical mastery, I knew, and it was at that Twin Flame 3 that I knew I was doing it. Then I got 2 soulmates added to my oversoul, which is amazing. And then I got a bunch of downloads and you name it. So every day is more love for the 5D mystic. Okay, for the 4D, it's a whole different story. I'm not going to talk about them. But every ascension energy, I've consistently expanded. And what I noticed is my brothers and sisters of fear have not, and that they've settled in and they're completely stagnating in karma. But that's not a bad thing. They're still manifesting. They're completely doing all of that 2-year-old stuff from their 0-8-year-old. So their family narratives, Diego's family, you name it. You gotta go watch YouTube. There's plenty of them out there. On the meantime, though, Sadhguru, on this full moon day, I want to honor what he shares because I didn't know this. But he says, on this full moon day, Gautama, the Buddha, became fully enlightened, creating a wave of spirituality. Let this be your inspiration to intensify your spiritual practices. Spiritual practices, yoga, mindfulness, meditation, they all support integration of brain and your restorative, embodied, self-aware, accountable, regulating choice. But that's only if you can sift through sensations, images, feelings, and thoughts. So your child parts are asleep, and you don't have insecurities that you're projecting at any of those which would be your counterparts. So the counterparts that don't get into becoming lovers, they're not going to be here because, again, healthy self-worth people don't take shit. But also healthy self-worth people are empowered and enlightening. So don't do, you're trauma dumping on me. That's not how it works. I will be a grown-up, and I'm a grown-up with you. And so partners, They raise each other higher, and in moments of doubt or insecurity or any of that, they are fierce lovers. And while some people think that they have to be highs and lows, they don't know how to work their nervous system. When you have eustress, you will have the same way of dealing with unknowns, uncertainties, and unexpecteds, but you're anchored in your ventral energy, and that's why you are equanimous in your stance and discerning, and you're keeping your prefrontal cortex, and you live those emotions, which last those 90 seconds, and then you're contemplating and processing it, and there you go, and you've expanded. And so this is not boring, but that's why the attachment coaches with those who want their little battlefields call us boring. They don't realize what they're missing out on, and we won't make them realize it because they don't believe it, because they fear feelings. The fearful brothers and sisters, they won't be here because they won't even be with Patrick Tan to learn to love themselves first, or with Terrio. So lovers who are true lovers, when it's securely attached, non-traumatized, which is what IHP is all made of, because that's where I'm at, they know exactly that love doesn't come in and out, like the soul is forever, and so is that expanding consciousness until it starts it all over again. You know, one of the most amazing things is knowing everything about your oversoul. And even when I've gotten surprises, I still know every single thing about my own oversoul. And as an empowered feminine, I already know when I meet masculines. It seems like you know everything, Maria. Oh, I don't know everything about you. I do know everything about me, though. And I do know everything about my oversoul. You're dismantling books. No, I'm not. I just don't. Books are not my leader. I'm my own piece of consciousness. Don't you know that I have my own relationship? People put books on pedestals. I don't. I'm anima mundi, meaning accepting all, rejecting none. And I have a relationship with that, which is anima mundi and God and source. So as a mystic, I am a downloader, a channeler. I just don't make it into this humongous deal. Ascension energies. I've seen people reject every single opportunity they've gotten. And it is heartbreaking to see masculines throw their life away. But don't waste my fucking time, is what I've thought. When I was a kid, I didn't have to think anymore because I made a conscious choice. Maria is knowing exactly where she's headed. As I told the teenage boyfriend by the third time, I said, dude, tell me the truth. I know it happened. Just tell me what you want to do, because it's getting ridiculous. I wasn't angry in a way of like, oh my God, no. It's getting tiresome. Emotionally immature people, simply do flip a switch. I flip a switch means nothing at this point as a grown-up because any moody person is just a moody person. I can be moody too. But the point is the lover isn't committed when they do this back and forth. They're going to end up not committing. In fact, he didn't, but he did commit to who is his life partner, which is the most amazing of stories because I get to consistently participate in the life of those who I love. And when people say that's weird, I say, you're weird. No, I don't. Because again, love is always, not just sometimes, like the self. So people who don't know what love is because they don't have compersion, because they don't have secure attachment, because they are not a person who's non-traumatized, because they don't know how to metabolize their emotions. I don't need to look up to you. Actually, I know emotional maturity like the back of my hand, and mental maturity. I won't be able to prove it to you because ventral energy is not provable. In the meantime, people say, you can't be one emotion. You pretend. And I think, wow, they must not want me to be happy. And you know what happens when someone actually accuses you of not wanting them to be happy and you don't in any way, shape, or form, a million years wish that upon them? You, as an emotionally mature person, say, okay, fair and square, I can totally understand that. Why, Sam Harris? I'm grounded in reality. Maria's cherishable beliefs can be falsifiable. Basically, I can understand another person's perspective because I know what I bring to the table. So I can totally understand how you can misunderstand me. The fact that you would accuse me of such a thing breaks my heart, but not in a way of saying, oh, Maria, change yourself because, oh my gosh, look at what that person assumed of you. No, that can happen. Don't you make fake assumptions that aren't true? So again, empowered people don't get, oh my God, something I did wrong, because we know what we come in with. That's why we don't change, those of us who have a higher self, even though they'll say we did. But yes, I did grow up, and I'm changing by the minute I get older. But love always consistently grows. That's my point. And so does expanding consciousness until we start all over again. And what's amazing for me is I know every one of my oversouls, and I know my future. And when I found that out, I was like, yay! So you won't find an empowered feminine complaining about her ascension journey at all. Now, I will say this. We'll end at the 10-minute mark. Panic attacks. Those were the worst part of all of this journey. But other than that, I'm happy to be here for the 5D mystics because, again, our oversoul is amazing. When you're a higher self, that is amazing. When you're not, you won't be here. And empowered lovers are empowered because they don't give each other excuses to be a low frequency. They simply support each other to be on a high. And again, that anchoring in ventral energy is where the body is headed in the first place. So people who are empowering themselves every time full moon, ascension energies, anything comes up, they're going to expand. And they're going to do so with self-compassion and love towards others. And they're going to expand with each other, empowered masculines, empowered feminines. Welcome aboard. Like, share, and subscribe. It'll help the channel grow. And thanks for stopping by. Again, have a wonderful full moon.